Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to part 2 of the International Paddock Media Day. In this session, as such, I am joined by the wonderful Jamie O'Connor from UCR, Undisputed Championship Racing. And we're going to just talk a little bit about the league, how it's run, and a little bit about the background as well surrounding UCR. And to top it all off, you guys in the chat will get to ask as many questions as you like. And if you're watching this after the fact, don't worry. Feel free to join their server. We do have a link to their Discord within International Paddock, so you can join it through our Discord, which if you use !Discord in the chat here on Twitch, or if you go into the comments section of the YouTube video, you'll be able to access it from there as well. Anyway, it's time to introduce my guest for this part of today's media session, and that is Jamie O'Connor. How are you, mate?
I am good, Andrew. How are you doing?
I am fantastic. I'm glad that you can join me today on what is going to be a very long one for me, but when you've got very limited time, you've got to do it all in a oneer, so that's how we got to do it. So anyway, Jamie, we've known each other for a good few years now, haven't we?
I think it's about 4 years now.
Yeah, I would say 2020 is probably
Yeah,
when I met you.
yeah, COVID sort of time.
Sort of 2020, 21 sort of time, back in the old F1s, the ones that were actually semi-decent, should I say.
Yeah,
And we got to know each other through, I guess, my commentary, but also through mutual friends, would have you. Um,
yeah, for sure.
and we've become...
ACC was the day we met
Yes, we were literally driving on Xbox ACC, and
at Kyle Army.
at Kyle Army. It was me, Kieran Wright, who is also one of the owners of UCR,
Won't mention the other one.
and the other guy, and we were driving. We were driving around, and we were in a lobby with you and Piastri, not the Piastri that you will all know now, but Jackson, and we got to know each other through that, which was quite interesting, and it's nice to see a few people as well joining back into UCR from a little bit of a hiatus. So I don't know, introduce yourself, Jamie, to everyone that doesn't know you, because I do, and we can get started.
Yeah, I'm Jamie. I'm 27 in a week, and I'm a washed sim racer.
No, you're only washed when it comes to F1, mate. Don't bring yourself down like that.
Thanks.
If
But
you
yeah,
want to give...
so I used to be an avid F1 sim racer, and I'm not going to try and blow my own trumpet. I used to be quite good. Then F1 2022 came out, so thought, right, I'm not gonna. I tried it, spent the money on it, waste of time, didn't like it, and then got in contact with Andrew, just like, yo, I'm on PC now. Got anything ACC related? And it's just like, yes, actually. How would you like to run Team Alba 43? Obviously, I've passed that on now because of other ventures, so it were. Yeah, we've had some good races in the past, and yeah, it's only helped our friendship, I think.
100%, 100%, and I think having the ability to, I've worked. I should give a bit of a background. If you haven't seen the announcement I put out there introducing Jamie and Kieran to you all, I got to know Jamie very thoroughly through my time with him on his last venture, which was Supreme Formula Racing, which, unfortunately, well, I'm not going to say unfortunately, but has sprouted into something better now that UCR has come along. And I worked as a PR and media manager within their sort of ranks and helped them try and get their name out there. Got a good few sponsorship deals, and then unfortunately things started going a turn for the worse for the league. I think a lot of things just sort of fell a little bit from under us, and then unfortunately we never got to use much of the sponsorships that we had gained. But in many ways, And that partnership has led to other things, and which has been bigger and better for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. It's disappointing how SFR ended, but it's a well-known phrase. It's like you don't learn. Well, is it? If you don't learn from your mistakes, then you'll never learn.
100%.
Um, yeah,
Like,
I had what I wanted to say on the tip of my tongue, and then it just apparently
just
my brain had a
disappeared.
stroke.
But yeah, no,
Um,
I agree with you on that statement. I think it's very true that if you can't learn from anything that you do, and you can't take accountability for things that go wrong, then you will never learn. And I think that the
that's what I was going to say. You don't lose if you learn from your mistakes or
yes,
something,
yes, and
something like that. But
that's the
yeah,
interesting thing. And we've already got a few questions here. MK Motorsports is back. For those of you who don't know, that's Kieran from VGT. He was just in the last interview, but they've came back for a little bit more. And Big Al, which is Alex, who's also from VGT. He's asked you a question already. I think we'll fire into that one. How do you feel your skill compares to other drivers around you on the grid?
um, that's I'm gonna have to answer it in two parts to that because, as you know, I don't just race Formula One.
Yeah.
Um, so Formula One, as I touched upon earlier, like I took a break from it, and like I was good, but I don't like rating myself, if that makes sense. Um, I won a few championships here and there. So I'd say I'm like well accustomed to league racing on F1, but I'm not the fastest out there. Like there's a few guys in UCR that are absolutely rapid. So some of you may know Wilsey from the SFR times, but yeah, he's rapid. SFR Finns as well. He's stupidly fast now.
Young New Zealander.
So I'm around. I'm not on their pace, but I'm not far from them, if that makes sense. But as for like GT racing on ACC, I'm. I'd say I'm still like. I'd be considered a rookie in that.
Yeah, you're. I mean, if you compare your time in Kyalami, it was 141 roughly. There's a fly
Yeah.
buzzing in my face, which makes me feel so
But
happy.
but yeah, like I don't really know. I'd like to think I keep progressing the longer I do it. Um, and yeah, in a few weeks when I get my new PC, ACC will be back. So
And I
yeah,
cannot
who
wait to race
knows?
with you again, mate. I've been waiting for you to get a PC so that we can do some racing and stuff. So, hell yeah! But I think the great thing for me is seeing, UCR build on the tried and tested formulas that were in SFR, but build something better. I think the management structure has been refined. Personally, from a standpoint that I should say I'm not involved in UCR. I will only, I think, as I was literally asked to be a steward in the league maybe about 10 minutes ago. So, as I say, that's the only part that I have in that. I don't have stake in this league.
But
So,
the other part is obviously being a partner
yeah,
because we're partnered with you guys.
yes,
But other than that, like yeah,
we have no
Andrew
sway.
doesn't make league decisions.
No, so
So
anything I'm saying, I'm essentially saying from the outside, but from the conception of the idea of bringing back something that was, that something was close to my heart was always going to be the greatest thing. And when this was brought to me back in March, April time, when I was on the phone one night with the original OGs as such of the idea, I was extremely impressed that they're trying so hard to bring something back, and I think that that's great. Now, the formula is slightly different now. It's still a tried and tested formula, but it is different, and I think that's the important thing to take from this. the one thing that I think we got wrong. It it frustrates me that we didn't get it right the first time, but at least, you know, you'll get it right the second time. Am I right?
Yeah, precisely. Yeah, I'm just as frustrated as you are that SFR didn't originally work. But like there were parts of it that worked absolutely fantastic, and we've tried to bring that experience across into UCR to make it one of the most entertaining, realistic Formula One leagues out there. Hopefully, um,
I'm excited. I think the great thing that SFR always offered was it always was a spectacle. Every race had something happening that had people talking. Now, the great thing for me is bringing this onto International Paddock's point of view is that UCR is probably going to be no different. There's always going to be a battle on the grid, and I can't wait to see that. It's something that many F1 leagues have tried and failed to do because they have tried, and they've tried a different approach, which is trying to bring everybody in a race of the same pace. Yes, you're going to get fast racing, but all it takes is for one of them to crash, and then you're going to have a gap, aren't you? So, for me, bringing people of different experiences in doesn't mean that you're going to have bad racing. It just means you're going to have 3 sets of racing going on at the same time, and that's what makes things
think of it like the World Endurance Championship at Le Mans, where they've got 3 different classes. It brings something like that into it. So when we talk about having a tier 1 driver in a Red Bull and a tier 2 driver in a Red Bull, so for instance, driver number 1 at Red Bull for UCR, as people may know him, was previously SFR Montoya, who is rapid. Right, but then the tier 2 driver, so in Checo's seat, we've got someone you know very well, Andrew, and is also an owner of International Paddock.
He's
We've
in
got
the chat right
Mike.
now. Big Mike.
Yeah, he's in the chat. Yeah, so yes, we've got a really, really fast driver in a realistic Red Bull, but it evens it out.
100%.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and then that's
So
the important thing, and I think we've got a couple of questions lined up for you as well, so we'll try and fire through these quick before I go on to some more, but I agree. It's giving the opportunity, and it creates a change in a Constructors' Championship, knowing that you've got a fast driver that may compete at the top of the field, but you've also got a driver who may not actually manage and fight to get points. So it's going to be 2 types of championship, straight up. Very defined differences in how people are going to be fighting to get into the top 15, because that's where the points are at, and that's the important thing for a lot of people, is knowing that if they finish, they're going to get points, and that's how it should be. MK Motorsports is asking you, this is the first one, what does UCR offer that other leagues don't? I mean, that's quite a savage one, but yes, I like that question.
I like that question as well. That's really thrown me on the spot. So the whole concept of UCR was to make it as realistic of an F1 league as possible. So we're running full qualifying with 100% races. So 12 race season, so it's not ultra realistic, but we've got 3 sprint races a season. But those sprint races are also 100%. So we have full quali in sprint races, and then 100% race for sprint races.
Which is fantastic.
We'll have so 2 weeks today. We're going to have a very late night because our first sprint race is at Silverstone. 2 weeks today.
Oh,
so
can't wait to watch all of that. Casper's going to love you when he is editing that. I'm telling you now, he's going to love you so much.
Yeah. But the thing we want to do, but the thing we want to do is we want to make it entertaining, and I think that's the main goal here. Are we going to have boring races? Honestly, yeah, we are. Monaco, for instance, it's not going to be setting the world alight for overtakes. This isn't Formula E, but the difference is like we've got really fast drivers in a Sauber, so no one's expecting a Sauber to win. We may end up having a Sauber win tonight. Who knows? But like some of the drivers here, I've never seen race, so it throws all that up in the air as well.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with
Yeah,
that.
I'm not
It's
really.
an interesting statement as well, because no matter what you do, you're always going to have something going on, and that's the great thing about it. I'm going to move on to the next question. I was hoping Rosberg was going to come in because I want to chat with him as well, because he was part of the original
He is
conception
at
of the
work.
idea as well.
He is at work. So
Ah, right. I did try to send him a message, see if you'd want to jump in, but maybe we'll get his side on a message to put out on social media as well. Most important question, this is another one from MK Motorsports, is with F1 being a game that's becoming less and less popular, how will you be planning to keep the momentum? Sorry for the savage question, he was apologising for that one, but I think it's actually a very valid one because a lot of leagues have struggled with that over the past year.
yeah. How do we keep the momentum going? Just by being fair, being helpful to anyone if anyone's struggling, like with mental health or they're down because they're not getting the performances they were hoping for. Like we've got a great team of admins who are willing to help everyone, and the league doesn't exist without the drivers. So it's our league, but it's actually your league.
100%.
Like we're not going to be a dictatorship. Um, I've been accused of being one in the past, but you've worked with me for a few years now, Andrew. Like I don't know how. Um, I haven't invaded another country,
It's not
so
Germany yet, guys.
yeah.
Yeah, no. But
I haven't sent a Panzer over the border into Poland,
no,
for
you
instance.
it's
Like
no blitzkrieg, you know. So I agree with you, and that's fair because people sometimes do get a little bit jaded at people's success, and they will accuse others of those things. But it's important that you keep your head throughout all of that. I think an important one to discuss is that no matter what, it's about being fair, and you mentioned that first, and I like that. Something that sometimes in leagues sometimes gets caught up with everything because yes, sometimes owners want to race in their own league. That's fine, it's perfectly okay. As long as they don't take part in discussions around incidents that involve them or have other people convey ideas on their behalf, it should work. And it's something that we have tested through the International Paddock Open and through the Comms Cup that we ran previously last month. So for me, or it is still this month, but the start of this month anyway. And I think that's the important thing to note is that impartial viewing of tickets, impartial going into things, not knowing exactly what the outcome will be, and knowing that at the end of it you can give the best and fair judgment that you can of an incident, to me is the most important thing. And that's what I really, really like about the structure of the stewarding that you're going to implement, you're going to set up. You've taken the ideas on board from the last league that you ran, but you've also taken part of the ideas as well that has been laid out in framework throughout other partner leagues that has worked as well. And I think that's how you become successful, is by using these tools created and designed for you. I think, do we have anyone else? Yes, Big Al is asking, who do you think will be the world champion and constructors champion in this up and coming season?
drivers champion. I can't really see anyone other than Wilsey, to be honest. Um, but again, he could be caught up in incidents. We don't know what's going to happen. But constructors. Oh, let me have a look at the teams quickly.
I reckon it's all to play for, to be honest, on both fields. I like Wilsey, he's very quick, but I think we could see some of the other drivers from other leagues that are going to be taking part in UCR. This, for example, Mitch or Minden Bean from
I
he's quick.
think Sauber,
You reckon Sauber? What's the team there?
Finns and Small Girl.
Oh god, that's actually a strong lineup because Finns is quick and Small Girl as well can be pretty quick as well and on their day. So I think it's going to be all to play for. But all it takes is for one of them not to turn up for a race or make a mistake, and that's it. So I think that's a great idea to see how we're going to move with that. Now I'm going to try and move on to some more questions from myself based around this. When it's based around a realistic viewing, do you feel that that may have an effect on trying to keep driver numbers, or do you think that that in itself should keep the hardcore drivers there all the time?
Honestly, I think it will keep the hardcore drivers there. I know there's a fair few people out there that have been wanting a realistic F1 league that do full qualifying, 100% races, but sometimes they just don't. What's the word? They don't commit to it.
Yeah.
The only way you're gonna know if you want to do it is to take part in a season.
100%. I agree with you on that. That's a very valid statement. You don't know how well you're going to do until you give it a go. And that's the main thing that we promote here in International Paddock, is that you've got to at least try something once to have an opinion. And that's what we try and do with a lot of our projects and a lot of our things that we do. And I think it's actually important to note as well in one of the previous questions that you answered is that you were supporting mental health, and that's something that we at the International Paddock support 100%. A lot of our staffing team have met mental health issues in their life, and a lot of people in general will meet mental health issues in their life. A fact that a lot of people don't know is that 1 in 8 men on this planet have been affected by mental health issues in their own way. The number is skewed, however, because a lot of people, a lot of men, will not speak out about ever having mental health issues because of the stigma around it. And that's another thing that we're trying to promote here in International Paddock, is a mutual understanding that you will not be judged for how you feel. If you don't feel great, tell someone so that we can at least try and help you. None of us are experts here. I don't think anyone can ever be an expert in mental health, and I will always attest to people that say they're an expert in it. You're not, because everyone's different, and everyone has their own needs as a person to be able to survive, thrive, and live. And if that's just someone to talk to, because let's face it, being online all the time can be very lonely, and I think that that's a very important thing for me. And one thing that we are doing in International Paddock is supporting leagues that are trying to help and support drivers' mental health and other members' mental health, depending on whether they are driving or not. So for me, it's an extremely important thing that we support that, and we will be releasing documents and other things on how to set up a reach out and help chat and make it as well as you can, with support for other people without judgmental attitude and comments, and a change in attitude towards that singular person that spoke out about their mental health. So if any leagues are interested in that are watching this right now, please do get in touch with myself, and I'll let you know when the time frame will be for that documents being released. They were meant to be released last week, but they never did, so that's my bad. I couldn't get the video up in time for the actual thing, but I'm completely revamping the document. I realised that maybe I'm missing stuff, so I'm going to make sure that it's right for you guys. But anyway, back to the question. We actually got another question from Big Al. It's a big one, Jesus. Right, let's try this. With your league being as realistic as possible, how will you manage to get your FIA team, aka stewarding team, to be as fair as possible without being biased to one team? Because I know sometimes in the past, experienced drivers like to give specific choice of words to the FIA team, which could shift some FIA members' opinion on the instance. So how do you eliminate it and keeping your staff to be level-headed? It's a big question.
I'm glad that question was asked actually, because I've had an idea.
Mm,
The stewards will change every race. A bit like what they do in real Formula One.
I like that. Because it also keeps everyone
So,
understanding.
so the head steward won't change,
Mhm.
but the other stewards that help come to a decision
I like that.
will change.
And
And the owners will not, I repeat, will not get involved with ticket submissions. The only time the owners will get involved is if it actually affects the league. So, purposefully driving into people, crashing them out. They won't even get a chance to defend themselves. If it is a purposeful crash out, you will be booted.
which is a fair statement. I think a lot of leagues will agree with anyone on that there's no place for that in any league. You're wanting respectful driving, and if you can't get it because somebody's just decided that they were going to spearhead into somebody at 250 miles an hour at the end of I don't know, the the Kemmel Straight at Spa, then you know there's absolutely no place for that, and I have seen it happen and people look the other way. So I think that's a very valid way about it. Another thing that we tried and tested with our stewarding system that has actually worked is keeping stewarding anonymous. So people don't know exactly who stewards are unless they really go digging. Keeping tags anonymous to those things for ticket support and all that stuff. Making sure that you know people are not getting messaged directly about certain issues, and it's worked so well in terms of trying to support people, and I'm very happy that other leagues are taking that on now about the anonymity, or the if you message us we will not review your ticket sort of things. It has to be done in a ticket form, and I like that. Got something from Kieran from MK Motorsports. He's saying this is more of an idea than a question, but here in VGT we have a license system. What does UCR have to keep their drivers in check? You guys have a license system.
We have a driver license, yeah.
Yeah.
We've got a massive spreadsheet with every single round on it, every single driver, exactly how many points they've got. You get to 10 points, you've got a race ban. You get to 15 points, you are under league review.
That's great. It's the best way to do it, in my opinion. A lot of leagues do it. Keeps people in check. They can't just, for example, turn up for free races and expect that they can kill multiple drivers and get away with it and get first. It makes sure that that person essentially, on, let's say, race 2, they've got 15 points. They ain't allowed to race at all anyway. So,
yeah,
simple as it keeps the league clean and safe, and it's important to have that. Pig Al's coming in, and my final question would be for someone who is looking to buy the game, but is more interested in being a race engineer and help gather intel on the tracks and gather setups for drivers. Would you be open to allowing engineers if you don't have them already in the future, or is it not anywhere in your future in the league?
Right, chat, can you get out my head? So, basically, our original plan was if we got a lot of people straight into the league, like without having to rush around and get drivers, which does happen. It has happened to us. We're still getting drivers join now, so I'm doing this interview as well as doing admin work for UCR. Race engineers, team principals, team budgets are all on the agenda.
And again, they are tried and tested and do work.
Yeah. Something we are looking at doing is if you want to be a race engineer, race engineer / team principal, you will not be racing. You will run, for instance, Ferrari and only run Ferrari. You will have a budget to get your drivers in. if one of your drivers is involved in an incident and are found guilty, depending on the severity of the incident, you will be fined, and so on and so forth.
It adds a different dynamic, and it has worked. We've seen good examples of this, and we've seen bad examples of this as well in multiple leagues. We won't name any names here because that's not how we do this. But through the good couple of years that I have been in the F1 space, I have seen good and bad examples, and it has worked. It's considerably more enjoyable if you can just sit back and know that your team is going to do something here, and you can sit back and you can sit in a call with them and say, right, I need this done. Can you put some more pace
Precisely,
on?
which is why when you get given F1 tags in UCR when you join the Discord, you will see a section called Paddock. It'll have all 10 teams team chat, and then it has 10 voice channels, all for those teams as well. So, for instance, if you're in Red Bull, you can only see the Red Bull team chat and the Red Bull pit wall. Same goes for Ferrari, McLaren, Mercedes, Aston Martin, RB, and stuff like that.
And the great thing about that as well is us as commentators, we can see all of that. And we can message in the chat and say, hey guys, I know you guys are racing. Would you be alright us jumping in? Like in between qualifying or in between the sprint races and having a
or even during the races.
Yep. And having a wee interview
so
with you
you
guys.
can actually get team radio.
Yes, 100%. And that would be, it's a bit in the future, but it would work, and it'd be pretty cool to see that happen. But yeah, I have a few more questions about Owen JB. I don't want to take up too much of your time because you are a busy boy. But when it comes to UCR, how excited are you in getting this up and running? You start your racing tonight at 8 PM, right? It's been a long time coming, hasn't it?
It has. To be honest, I'm buzzing, as are the other two owners and all of the drivers that are... They're raring to go. When did we do our track draw? 2 weeks ago, I think.
I think it was either
we done our
last
track draw,
yeah.
And yeah, like the drivers are all buzzing for it. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say, but let's make it a good one.
Yeah. I'll be watching, so I will be pottering about tonight in the chat. I will be trying to pay attention to as much of the racing that's going on as possible. And I think when it comes to fairness throughout all of the driving, you'll want it to be clean. Do you expect it to be clean for the first race?
I want it to be clean, but I also want a bit of drama, if that makes sense.
Ooh.
So, like, strategy will play a big part because it is a 100% race. It's 71 laps at Mexico tonight, with a full qualifying as well. And that's not including the fact that red flags are a thing over here. So red flags could happen. It's a very long run into turn 1 tonight, so your brakes will be cold going into turn 1. Yeah, so the great Murray Walker once said, anything can happen in Formula 1, and it usually does. So
yeah, and that's the thing.
I think that's
I can tell you for a fact the commentators are buzzing for tonight. They're looking forward to being there. I know it's Casper tonight, and if Gary can get home in time from Edinburgh because he was there for his 15th wedding anniversary. But from us here at International Paddock, we cannot wait to see how it all goes. I'll take 2 more questions. There's one waiting for me, so 1 more question after Big Al. So if you've got any more questions to throw in, please do so now. I will take, I could probably get 2 more in this, but if you've got a question, fire away now. But Big Al has said, so going into the team principal a little more, would you be open then if you were big enough to let team principals manage an F1 team and an F2 team, then as it gives the team principal more work to do and build the best team as possible within the budget?
So we haven't really thought about Formula 2 yet, mainly for the fact because we're partnered with another league, called Simtech Racing Championship, and they run F2, and they do an F2 managers, but they don't do an F1 managers, because how their realistic F1 league differs to us. They have their own formula, which is based off of your finishing position average. So you're not in the same car for an entire season, if that makes sense.
100%.
Um,
Mike is asking you one more question here. I'm not even a class as a question because it's just Mike. Would
no,
Jamie?
Mike, you're in a Red Bull.
Yeah. Would Jamie be willing to give me a lap head start tonight?
I'm in a
I'm
McLaren, man.
I'm going to start the question and end it. That's I'm going to answer it for Jamie. So that's the start of the question. At the end of it is no.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, going
like
back
a
to
normal
the
boy.
previous question. Going back to the previous question. We are open to that sort of thing. So I haven't spoke to SRC about it yet. But no, I'm not gonna say that on stream until I've spoken to them. Yeah, we're open to it. Because we don't just have plans for Formula One, we've got plans for multiple things. To name a couple off the head, we've got hopefully ACC planned and Le Mans Ultimate as well. So,
Looking forward to seeing how those develop.
yeah. For budgets, for the team principals and stuff, if your driver isn't performing, then you can buy them out of their contract. You could. We're basically going to have a transfer window at the start and end of every season to spice things up, to get the rumour mill spinning.
Hell yeah.
As you will.
Cool. I think we've got time for one more, and it's just come in the door, and that's from Big Al. Final question: how buzzing are your drivers for the season? Because now the nerves must be getting to them now with the race around the corner. So that's from Big Al.
Yeah, they are buzzing. I haven't had the chance to speak to everybody yet, but from the people that I speak to regularly, they can't wait. I think I saw a question earlier on as well. Did I? Yeah, from MK Motorsports, who could be the man/girl to watch. I'll get onto that in a bit, but yeah, they're absolutely buzzing. They can't wait. They've been waiting nearly a month for this. So yeah, we can't wait to see what everyone's got. And yeah, definitely cannot wait to hit the track tonight at Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez in Mexico.
Congratulations for pronouncing that name correctly. Anyway, this fly is going to piss me off, so I'm going to go and fry its wings off. Anyway, chat, thank you very much for being very receptive and welcoming Jamie into the comms box with me for this wee chat. We had a nice, good sit down. You got to understand the man behind the camera as well a little bit. You know, he's not a novice. He has done this before, so you know there is no expectation, but there, you know, I'm sure there is a little bit there from people that have raced previously with Jamie. But just remember this one thing, that we as International Paddock cannot wait to watch and enjoy UCR in its newfound born glory tonight at 8 PM live on this channel. So please do jump in, say hello, and enjoy the full realistic experience as the teams head out on track for the first time. Thank you very much for watching part 2 of the International Paddock Media Day, and I will catch you all again very soon, because I do believe I've got another interview coming right your way from ERC, so please bear with me. I will have them ready for you very soon. Stick around, and I'll catch you in a bit. Thanks for watching.